Welcome. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I'm gonna let Bruce give me the thumbs up. Okay, so we're coming in good. Loud and clear. Welcome to the Jean Marlo Davis Show. Every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is all about information and inspiration to impact the nation. It's about having total prosperity in every area of your life. That's mentally, spiritually, financially, emotionally, relationship-wise, guys. And it's very, very important for us to make sure we take care of what? Ourselves. So it's about having total prosperity. Today, I want to talk about something that I'm very aware of, grew up with it, seen it in person, dealt with it, was picked on about it, not for me, but because of my mom, okay? And I did not know this, but May is Mental Health Awareness Month, also referred to as Mental Health Month. This has been observed in the United States since 1949. Didn't even know that. Reaching millions of people in the U.S. through the media, local events, and screenings. I really haven't seen anything on social media about May. I know that our world has been flipped upside down, right side up, sunny side up. Our world just been flipped. So I know a lot of things that we're used to, we are seeing a new normal, and it has caused a great effect on a lot of people, including myself, because when you, of course, you experience it, you say, okay, you adjust from it, you change, you adapt, and you keep moving. But there is an adjustment period. And so May is Mental Health Awareness. It said 1 in 5 people will experience a mental illness during their lifetime. Everyone faces challenges in their life that can impact their mental health. So we're going to talk about this. This is a little bit more not really joking, my jokey joke self. I throw in a couple of, for you. I'm good. I'm all good by God's grace. But this is something, mental illness, is something that is like taboo in the African American community. This is something that we don't really talk about. It stems from, I guess, being seen as weak or, I don't know. I grew up with it in my home. I'm talk about that in a little bit, but we were just taught that's your special aunt, that's your special uncle. He's been touched or she's touched, and people with a key will laugh it off and things of that nature. But for me and my families, my brothers and sisters, we grew up with it to the point. I remember when my mom had a mental breakdown when I was 8 or 9 years old. As a matter of fact, I asked my mom years ago, I told her I was working on a book, and I told her I wanted to talk about this, and I'll tell you the book cover and all that, the name at another time. But this is a second book because my first book is going to come out sometimes July or August. I'll start telling you more and more about it as it comes out. But I think that this second book is something that I really, really want to talk about: mental illness, growing up with mental illness, seeing it, being teased about it. And I remember when I was a little kid, maybe around about 8 or 9 years old, we experienced it. My brothers and sisters, my older sister had to kind of step in and be a mom sometimes. That wasn't really fair to her. She lost a lot of her childhood, and but she had to step in a lot of times because it seemed like after she had that first breakdown, it happened in the wintertime, it was snowing, we were all little kids at that time. I remember that and at that time I don't even think, I think it was just 4 of us then. It wasn't, the twins wasn't born yet. So I think it was four of us when it first began. When we saw some things, and I'm going to get into it about, the symptoms and things of that nature that, you can obviously see. And then there's some that you don't see, that you wouldn't even identify it as mental illness. Again, I want to welcome everybody to the Marlo Davis show. Every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is about information, inspiration to impact the nation, about helping you to have total prosperity, mentally, spiritually, physically, financially, emotionally, as well as relationship wise. So this being Mental Awareness Month, the month of May, being observed since 1949. We're talking about this, and I haven't seen too much talk about it since I brought it up, but maybe I will. Talking about what we experienced as kids, I remember being picked at. When it first happened, of course, when my mom had a breakdown, we saw things that we saw her talking to herself. Now, mind you, it doesn't run in the family, because I've talked to my aunts, my uncles, all that stuff, and it doesn't run in the family. Anything can spark a mental breakdown. Be true about that. Anything. We just don't know where the crack is. We don't know what can push us over. But at that time, there was some infidelity in my mom's relationship with my stepfather. And, she had been taking it and getting phone calls and mess like that. Anybody that wreck a home, shame on you, man. Shame on you. I have no respect, okay? That's another thing. I have no respect for women that wreck homes. And I don't want to hear all the other stuff that goes with it, but that's not good. That's just not good. But anyway, because it affects not just that woman and that man, but their whole household. We all was affected by the decision of my stepfather to step out on my mom. And my mom just, at that time, she just had a break. She just broke because she calling him mistress, and instead of going to work, planning to go over there. I talk about this in the book, but I just want to set this up for you. And, we saw my mom after that. I don't want to talk about all what happened, why it happened, but after that happened, we just saw her just go down, down, down. We saw her uncontrollably crying all the time, which, something like that happens, of course, you're going to cry. But what really started making our antennas go up was we began to see her talking to herself. Now, I talk and I say my affirmations, my inspiration. I tell myself, Jean, you can do it. I look in the mirror and I talk to myself, give myself confirmation. Not that kind of talk to herself. So if you're doing that, you're fine. But it was more so of, how can I say, having a full-fledged conversation, laughing, talking and stuff. And we were kids. Like I said, I was 8 or 9. And we was like, uh-oh, what's going on? Is mommy okay? Is mommy okay? And we would be home and we would look. And then we would see her, just talking and laughing all the time. Then we start noticing her she could walk miles. She would just walk miles to exhaustion. And people would call us, the police would pick her up and say, we found your mom walking. She would walk the neighborhood and people would see her walking all the time. And as a kid, she would be walking and talking to herself. And my classmates, when I would get on the school bus to catch the bus, they would be, Jean, mom crazy, they would just say stuff. And guys, oh my God, kids can be just damn right cruel. And I would have to go through that. And my sisters and stuff, like at that time, my sister was in a rode the other bus because I know she would have been the Terminator. Bruce, she would have been the Terminator and beat anybody would have said it. My sister wasn't playing that. Thank you, honey. And so I'm going to take this so I can see you guys' comments and really talk to you about it. Because this is something, we don't talk about this, man. We never talk about this. This is something that We all need to sit on somebody's sofa and talk about it. But people would be laughing because they have probably heard or seen my mom walking and the police coming, and then we would get phone calls from the local community store that my mom would just be out there walking around talking to herself, and the community store that knew us, because we would go up there and buy little cakes and pies and moon pies back in the day, and our ooh, what's those little Chico sticks? I used to love me a Chico stick, baby. We used to be doing that. They would call us and like, hey, look, you need to really, come get your mom because she's up here doing this and that. And, we wouldn't know. We just came from school, and maybe, there we go. Make sure I can get your comments. If you have any comments, guys, please down below, leave a comment. I'm putting it down on mute, but I can look at it. That's why I have my phone, so I can really look at you guys' comments, because I like for you to, just like, share, comment, and what your thoughts. And so it would be total just getting off the school bus. Can you imagine getting off the school bus, running in to go get a snack and hurry up and try to do your homework so you can go play? And then you get a phone call talking about your mom's up at the store talking to herself. And then the people like, you need to come get your mom, or we're going to have to call the police. All that stuff that we went through as kids. And we didn't know what mental illness was. We did not know what mental illness was, man. We didn't. I don't even want to talk about my stepfather. I don't even want to talk about him, but even the care of that, the way he handled that was just, it took my aunt to step in really to handle the situation, to make sure, because we're kids, right? So because he was out doing his thing. And so to make sure that my mom got taken care of, my aunt Helen, she stepped in, and that's why we love her so much. She stepped in to make sure my mom got the care that she needed. But I remember I told my husband this, I'll never, ever forget this guy named Dwayne. When I was on him, I couldn't stand him. He used to get on my nerves. He used to, he just always picked on me. Now I realize that he was fond of me. Guys back in the day when I grew up, they weren't nice when they liked you. They weren't nice. They would pick at you, pull your hair, do all this old stuff. But he had an affection for me. And I remember one day I got on a bus and it was raining, and this one person like, yeah, we saw Jean mom. She was up there doing this, and she was talking, and they was talking a whole lot of stuff. And that guy, he stood up on the bus. Now this is a guy that me and was going back and forth. He stood up on the bus and he was like, say one more damn thing about her mom, and I'm going to kick y'all, you know what? And I just started crying because I was like, this guy didn't like me, I thought. And he, because he would always be picking at me, but he never said not one ill thing about my mom, what she was going through and what she was struggling with, that we didn't know, mental illness. And he said, say one more thing and I'm going to kick y'all, you know what? Well, the bus went silent. The bus was silent. And I was sitting in my chair on the bus and I was crying. Kids can be cruel, as I said. And he came over and he sat next to me. And he said, don't you ever hold your head down. It's not your fault. Your mom is sick. And I know y'all getting her help that she need. And I just like, for that coming from his age, I think that was like 13 or something at that time. But, that really just made me feel so good. And we just became really, really good friends. And nobody after that day said anything derogatory against my mom. If they did, they whisper it, but they never let me hear, and they dang sure didn't let Dwayne hear it. So Dwayne, if you remember Gene, little Jeannie, may God bless and keep you, brother, because you never forget those things. So we're talking about mental illness. It's in the month of May. Today, this is May. It's Mental Illness Awareness Month. And, those things, you can pretty much see something's wrong with someone if they're talking to themselves or, doing things out the blue that you'll be like, okay, something's not right here. But what do we do about it? And especially in our community, talking about the African American community, That's something we don't talk about. Like, that's taboo, man. Like, you see it and you face it, and just imagine that growing up as a kid, and it was like every damn winter time, it was like a relapse every winter for years, guys. For years, my mom experienced this, where my mom's very, very spiritual. She would come off, once you start taking meds, though, man, now you're chemically wired, and if you ever come off, it jacks you up, it messes you up. And so my mom would be like, well, Jesus healed me, I'm healed, and I don't have to take the medicine anymore. And we'd be like, Mom, take your medicine. She was like, okay, baby. She would take it, and then 7 days go by, she wouldn't haven't took anything, and then we started seeing her having episodes and doing stuff that you're like, okay, that don't make sense. Why is she doing that? And then we would go tell our stepfather, like, dude, like, don't you see what she's doing? Like, don't you think you need to call her doctor or something, dude? And oh my God, I have probably never, you'll hear all this stuff in the book when it comes out after my first book, when I talk about mental illness, growing up with it, man, we was all happy when we became 18, us older three, like me, my brother, my older sister. When we hit 18, we moved out. My sister moved out first, and then I was so sad when she moved out. I was like, hell no, don't go. I was like, no, don't go. Because I didn't want to have to deal with that stuff by myself, man. At least I had somebody there, like an anchor, man. And then my oldest brother, Tony, he went into the military. I was mad. He went into the Navy. I was like, damn, he go. So who's the oldest left? It's me. I'm in the house now with me and my younger brother that passed recently. May he rest in peace. And Gabriel, and my young two sisters, the twins. And so we were left as we grew up, and I was like, man, to have to, I'm sharing this with you because I know somebody else have either grown up with it or maybe dealing with it and don't know what to do. And, you're embarrassed, and you see, and it was a lot of times we was embarrassed, and the episodes my mom would have would make a squirrel go run up the tree and never come down again for his nuts. You understand? And squirrel love his nuts. So, when you would see some stuff like that, you would be, oh my God. When I would see my mom walking down the street talking to herself, I would be like, oh my God, not again. Because, and it always happened during the wintertime, because that's when that first incident happened, when she had the mental breakdown the first time. It just seemed like every winter it was happening over and over and over, and trying to get her medicines right. And then you hear diagnosed with schizophrenia. I can't even say the name. Schizophrenic, bipolar, or all these different things, names they're throwing out at you as a kid. I used to hate, and oh God, let me get through this. I used to hate Oreos as I grew up as a child. I used to love Oreos, Oreo, used to love them. And then when I grew up, I hated them. I started hating them, and I was wondering, like, when people would be, offer me, I'd be like, no, I don't want that. And it was because when we were kids, we would go visit our mom at the hospital, and because her way of showing love to us while she was getting her treatment, she would go into, I guess, where they would get their food and have their snacks and stuff, and she would go in and give each of us some Oreos. And then we would have to watch my mom as we left. She would start crying that we were leaving, and she would run to the glass, and we would see that. And I used to, keep my Oreos till they went bad. Like, that was a part of my mom that she gave me, right? Stuff like that. I'm talking about this because this is Mental Illness Awareness Month. And yes, you can identify, you can tell if somebody talking to themselves or doing things that look crazy and stuff like that. But let's get into some things that you may not know that is associated with mental illness. Now, I did my research and I was like, wow, we're going to talk about some signs of mental illness. And you might want to write this down. And when I do research, guys, I also make sure I give you who you can contact for help. Because especially, it's awfully hard for a child to have to see this and grow up with it and be tortured in school with it, to be talked about when you're on the school bus with it, to, see your siblings have to step in and take that parental role, and they life, childhood get stripped because now they got to grow up faster than what they are, and that stuff right there, and you watch it. And I know we talk about this, man. When it was time for me to move, when I moved at 18, I moved my senior year in high school. Those who know me, I moved my senior year in high school with the children's father, and basically I was like, 18, getting ready to graduate. My senior year, I was like, deuces, I'm out. And I think, guys, no lie, I can be honest with you. You're my friend, right? You're not going to talk about me? Okay, but, I'm good now. It goes down like water on a duck's back, because I've been through it. Prayed, got counseling, all that stuff. And there's nothing wrong with getting counseling, guys. Sometimes you need to lay on somebody's sofa to get that stuff out of you. That's why I'm probably not even crying about it. I thought I would cry about it, but I think it's been, I'm went through my healing process with talking with a counselor and getting that stuff out and finding out why certain things bother me, why I didn't like this, why I didn't like that, things of that nature. It helped me. But as I was talking about, growing up with that stuff, it's when I was 18, man, it was like a big, like you come out, you go outside, it's pouring down, raining, you got your coat on, and that coat get heavy. And then when you come in the house, you take it off. It's like a big relief. Okay, better yet, put the heavy coat on with the rain and the heavy book bag, the science, the social studies, the math book that you got to take home on the same day. You're like, no way, Jose. You got to take that home. You come home. That's how heavy growing up with that as a child was on me. So heavy, and that when I moved out at 18, when I moved out at 18, and I need to talk to my little sisters, because I never talked to them about it, because I wonder, did they feel the same way I felt when my older sister and brother moved out? We never addressed that. That might be something to talk about. And so when I moved out, it was like that heavy book bag and that jacket. I was like, whoo, because I felt like it was not my responsibility, out of sight, out of mind. Now that's my stepfather had to take care of the situation. It was just a lot to go through. Don't judge me. It was a lot to go through. And I don't think anybody should have to go through that by themselves. We went through it, and we went through it for a long time, growing up to being even adults, where I remember when they finally, think about this, from 8 years old up to 18, 2021, the doctors finally got my mom medicine right, and she didn't have any episodes for a long time. And we was like, wow, this stuff is working. Okay, thank you, God. And then my mom, Lord help us, she go to a tent revival. Bruce, it was over. Mm-hmm. She go to a tent revival. They don't told her she was healed. And she'd come back and tell her she ain't taking no medicine. I was like, Mom, Mom, that's going to cause a chemical imbalance. We started researching like we were doctors. You know that, babe? We could break that thing down. Sometimes the doctors would be shocked when we would go to the meetings, because we would be breaking down terminology and stuff, and they looking at us. I'm like, dude, we grew up with this. We grew up with this. So we're like trying to figure out what's this and that. We knew all the different kind of meds. We knew this and that. And they looking at us like, and one doctor, I never forget, he said, no child should ever have to grow up with that. I said, what do we did? We got an MD, from growing up with it, right? So, but I just remember growing up, guys, that it was like I was so happy to move out. I was so happy to be on my own. And then it went to, before I give you the signs of mental illness, the signs that you're not aware of, because we can physically, like I said, see somebody talking to themselves or things of that nature. I asked my older sister, it's like, as I became a grown woman and began to procreate and have kids, I always had that kind of linger in the back of my head, like, oh God, will any one of us have that? And I asked my older sister, do you think we're ever, she's like, no, baby, no, we will not. No, we will not, because that comes from decisions that my mom, made, and there was a lot of things that went with it. And as I became a grown woman and my sister shared different things with me, the light bulb went off. I was like, aha, okay. So it was a lot of stuff that brought that breakdown down that my mom could have easily avoided, but she chose to go in that situation. Read between the lines, okay? So, when I and then of course I called aunts and uncles and people that were living in our family in Alabama and other places, and I was like, do anybody? Nope. And I kept getting no's. And then I realized that a lot of times we bring things on from our decisions. Who we partner up with. Oh, he fine as hell, but he's broke as hell. Oh, she fine as hell, but she broke as hell and giving you hell. Oh, just things that we make decisions, and not calculated decisions, because we were not taught the science of mating, the science of business, the science of warfare. We were not taught that, but there's a science there. So, some cultures, they know the backgrounds of the families, both families. They know, what the educational background is, what their belief is, and they put them together and they get married as friends, just knowing each other, but they later on fall in love, because the way our mechanics is as a woman, we are designed in our DNA that, once a man out there performs and he takes care of you, he provides for you, he loves you, he can be as ugly as you know who, but I ain't gonna say no name, but he can be, and you'll be like, I love that man. And Denzel, back in the day, Denzel, not this one, no shade Denzel, I'm sorry, but that back in the day, Denzel could have came up on you, be like, no, I'm good, right? So so I gotta throw a jokey joke in there to break up the monotony, okay? So as I began to understand certain things, that fear went away. Thank God, none of my siblings, none of our children, we now have grandchildren on the scene. We haven't seen that. But we always stay aware of things and, situations, people, events, things that happen in our life. Anybody can, I don't want to use that I feel like crack is a derogatory term. I would say break down. Anyone can break down, right? So let's get into signs of mental illness. You are watching the Marlo Davis show, which we talk about information, inspiration to impact the nation. It comes on every Thursday live here on YouTube at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're all about total prosperity, mentally, spiritually, physically, financially, emotionally, as well as relationship-wise. We might cover the gamut. We always come from a different area, the Marlo Davis show do. So make sure that you tune in every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you like, make sure you share. And while we're live, guys, also comment. Even if you do the replay, make sure you comment #replay. And give me some questions. What questions do you have for me? Let me know what you want me to cover. What do you want me to talk about that we don't want to talk about? Let's get into it, okay, on the Marlo Davis show. We get into it. And so make sure you subscribe, hit the bell so you can get all the notifications, so you can get the information, okay? So let's get into signs of mental illness. Now, when I was researching this, I was like, huh? Are you serious? The first thing I saw that it said fatigue. Okay, Mayo Clinic said Mental illness can be more than just feelings of sadness or distress. They may cause you to feel significant tiredness, low energy, or problems sleeping. Okay? Now, with the problem sleeping, I know we all have pretty much had our word flipped. Like, it's not a U.S. pandemic. It is a world pandemic that we're dealing with. So we all have experienced some stress, okay? And so doing that, feeling that stress, some people have been overeating. Some people have not been eating. Some people have been sleeping late, sleeping longer, sadness, crying, things of that nature. And that's because we, remember what I said, different events or things that happen can bring on certain stresses and things of that nature. So when it said fatigue, sleeping late, things of that nature, just make sure that you monitor yourself. And if you have a loved one that live with you, and you guys, make sure you share this video. But if you have a loved one that live with you, maybe they look at you and make sure you're straight, because sometimes we always talk about, I'm good. What does that I'm good mean? Sometimes we put on that cloak of I'm good to hide what's really going on with us. I did a mental check with all of our kids, our grandkids. How are you doing? Really, like, how are you doing? And they express when the first lockdown happened. Mom, I'm angry. I don't understand. This is crazy. Never heard anything like this. I felt like somebody came and just robbed me of my career, and where I was performing and doing all this. Now I'm locked down and things of that nature. So they was able to get that out, find a new normal, learn, taking up some courses, in trading, building business, things of that nature. I even talked to the grandkids, how are you feeling? You're not in school, you're being homeschooled, how you feel. Mommy, I miss, Aunt Nana, I miss my friends, I miss my teacher, and I'm excited when I take my course that I get to see my teacher on the screen. So I'm like, okay, and just I watch them. They like to play and have, they're doing good. I talk to my daughter, like, these are some of the signs you need to make sure you look at to make sure that they're not going into a depression and things of that nature. And we got that on lock. We're working together. Okay. So, it says fatigue, significant tiredness, low energy, or problem sleeping. Then chronic pain. Those little aches or pains or worse can actually be tied to a mental condition. Didn't know that. While pain can cause depression, the feelings of sadness can intensify the pain. This is per Harvard Medical School. Chronic aches and pains. Okay, that's something, hopefully you're writing this down. Fatigue, severe tiredness, not wanting to get out of the bed, things of that nature. That's an alert. Chronic pain that gets intensified. Okay, now tics and twitches. Tics are said to be controllable response to an urge to contract muscles, while twitches are generally involuntary spasms. Okay, twitches can lead a person to believe there's a bigger problem, which in turn creates more anxiety. So if you're having twitches and tics and things of that nature, you never had it before, you might want to talk to someone who's qualified. I am not a doctor. I am not a nurse. I play one on TV. I'm just kidding. Damn it, Jim, I'm not a doctor, But you want to look into tics and twitches if you're having that. Sinus problems. Now that tripped me out. I'm like, what? Psychology Today explains in a 2014 article that chronic sinus issues have been linked to depression. Chronic sinus issues. Chronic meaning continuously happening, right? Depression can trigger a physical ailment, which in turn intensifies your feelings of sadness, making the ailment tougher to cope with. So sinus problems, that's something else. Nausea, right? Feeling sick to your stomach often may be a sign that your mind is not doing its best, according to Science Daily release. So, you have, women, sometimes that with nausea, we go through things. We go through biological changes. You get pregnant, you're nausea. You stress, you get nausea. Before your cycle, sometimes you feel nauseated. So that's something that you just gotta look after yourself. We take care of everybody else, sisters. We need to take care of ourselves, especially your mental health. We play Superwoman live and on TV. We play her. We take care of our husbands, take care of our children's. We're always there, but oftentimes we're not there for ourselves. So we got to take care of ourselves. We got to give ourselves that time to heal, to talk to someone who can help us with any mental stresses that we take on, that we might feel there's an uneven balance in the home where you feel like you do dust, and your husband only do this. You can feel all sorts of things. So you want to be able to talk to someone who is qualified to talk to you and talk you through whatever issues you're going through. So nausea was kind of interesting. Of course, I've heard about weight loss and weight gain. And weight loss, I was watching this movie. It was an older movie. Something about, I don't forgot the title of it. It was about Helen. Something Helen. It was an older movie with Ashley Judd in it. And I was watching this the other day. And clearly, you could see her problems because she had uncontrollable crying all the time. She didn't want her husband to touch her. She was having memory loss. She was a school teacher. Talking about this movie called Helen with Ashley Judd as the main actor. She was teaching in a college, institution. And she would be in the middle of the class and just totally forget, what she was about to go into. She would come home and just get in the bed and put the covers over her head and cry. Her husband, of course, as men do, those who love you will try to figure it out. And her husband was getting frustrated. Thank God in the movie he wasn't wanting to give up on her. He was there with her and she got the help that she needed. But it was a lot of things that I was like, wow, that was really, really deep in that movie. That was really, really strong for her that she had to go through. So weight loss. And one of the things that she went through was weight loss without trying. Like this loss, it says, weight loss without trying. She was just losing weight without trying. That's something very serious. You lose 7 to 10 pounds in a week. That's a signal. That's a red flag right there, right? Weight gain, uncontrollable eating. A lot of people been kicking it with Ben and Jerry, Burger King, McDonald's, Chick-fil-A. Just been kicking it with a lot of food during this COVID-19. We went through some things, right? And we still are going through some things. We're still, trying to figure this thing out. All the different reports that's out there. You don't know what's true, what's real, what's Memorex. You just don't know. You're striving to cope and, work it out the best way you can. Some of us who are spiritual, we have our pastors and bishops, and we pray and fast, things of that nature. And we talk about different things. I talked about, things you can do to help you to vent while you're locked down. Go for a walk, take up dancing, dance. I love to dance. I love to work out. Though the adrenaline that you get from working out and those endorphins, it brings on a calmness. What is it called? CMDC something oil? What is it, babe? CBD oil. That's really, really good. I know somebody who sells it, and it's infused in what she sells to help you lose weight. I mean, boom. How can you go wrong with that? You can't. So weight loss, weight gain. And I'm gonna give you a few more before we wrap up, as I get ready to wrap up, because it's a lot of different symptoms, and some may be associated, some may not be. Some just, can be from change of injury that you may have had when you were younger, and now you're feeling the aches and pains from it. But right now we're all under some stress, the truth be told, right? Headaches, irritated skin. They say that's forms of depression, mental illness. Um, I looked at this. It said cavities. Depression may cause, let me see. Yeah, look at that. It said depression may cause dry mouth, cavities, and gum disease. Wow. Per Academy of General Dentistry, the Academy of General Dentistry says depression may cause dry mouth, cavities, and gum disease, headaches, irritated skin, things of that nature. So many different things out there, guys, that signs that you got to just start looking at yourself. And I know for me, I already work at home. I have several businesses that we run. We have our online university. We do our level up coaching. We have our tax practice. I create courses. And I thank God that stuff keeps me busy. But also too, I'm a nature person. So I like to go for a walk. I like to go for a drive. This thing has, and I like to talk. I am a people person. It's funny because like a Pisces, we swim upstream, downstream. I'm a people person, but I do like to get to my space sometimes and be by myself sometimes. But I can only imagine everybody is not wired the same way. I have a strong family base. My husband is excellent. He is my best friend. I can honestly say that. I talk to him about pretty much everything. We share how we're feeling and what we're going through. He knows I have to have that mental break and I have to get out the house. And, while we've been locked down, and just feels good to get out and walk and, exercise in nature. It feels good to see my kids and beautiful grandbabies. It just feels good to have family. And I call and check on my friends. I check on my family members, those that are close to me. We did a pop-up the other day. It was hilarious. One of our friends, we popped up over by their home, and they came out on their balcony, and we just was on our car, and we was just talking to them, back and forth, and they were excited to see us, and we was excited to see them, and we were really, really social distance because they was on their balcony, we was on our car, and it just felt good to see them. And it just, guys, it's very important to be honest with yourself. Everybody's not handling this thing well. Some people don't have the support that you and I may have. Some people are social distancing by themselves. If you know someone, call them, check on them, make sure they're okay. If you care about them, guys, this is the time to step up and check on your friends, those you call friends, so-called friends, not just social media friends, or friends because they got money, or friends because they got, some power, or they're known, check on them, see if they're okay, because everything that people can put on, what the word I want to say, mask. People can pretend all day that they're okay, and sometimes they may not be. But be a good friend, be a good neighbor, and check on your neighbor, right? But I want to give you some numbers as I wrap up talking about mental health month, mental wellness month, being in the month of May. I want to make sure you understand that, you need to take care of your health. You need to take care, not just your physical, but your mental as well. You need to take care of it. And no, we don't have the answers for everything. No, we don't know everything. There's nothing wrong with, having a breakdown for a build up. There's nothing wrong with that. But get the help that you need. Don't suffer in silence, because a lot of people, when it comes to mental illness, that's what they do. They suffer in silence because it makes them feel like they're broken, and they feel like, oh, I shouldn't have to go through this. I'm stronger than that. Please, we never know. It's only by the grace and mercy of God that we got the mind that we have right now, right, Bruce? Mm-hmm. It's only by His grace and His mercy. And so, let me give you some numbers. We have WellStar. If you need help today, tomorrow, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, whenever you watch this video, I want you to know we care about you. We care about your well-being, and we want you to get the help that you need. Don't suffer in silence. So let's look at, hold on. Sorry, guys. As I'm live, people trying to call me. Okay, so wellness, behavioral health. WellStar Behavioral Health, 24/7. You can call 24/7, 470-732-3789. Again, 470-732-3789. That's WellStar Behavioral Health. Then we have SAMHSA. SAMHSA Treatment Referral Helpline. That's 1-800-662-4357. If you got to play this back and get the numbers, do that. After this load up, you'll be able to play it back once it's available. 1-800-662-4357. Mental Health Helpline. This orange juice is making my mouth real juicy. I'm sorry. Mental Health Helpline 24/7. 1-855-653-8178. That's 855-653-8178. National Alliance on Mental Illness. I heard this is a very huge organization. National Alliance on Mental Illness, NAMI, NAMI.org. That's NAMI.org. Their 800 number is 1-800-950-6264. Again, 1-800-950-6264. Or you can text NAMI, NAMI, to 741-741. So text NAMI to 741-741. NAMI to 741-741. That's the short text. 24/7 day. You're hurting. You need to talk to someone. You're forgetting things. You're stressed out. You're feeling other than yourself. And those who may be even experiencing this, you see your loved one going through it. You see your loved one it's doing things that, you're like, oh God, something's not right. Then just go ahead and text NAMI to 741-741. Talk to a professional. Let them know what you're going through. And that way they can give you some advice on where to go next. Mental illness is nothing to play with. It is like I would say a disease without a voice in our community because we don't like to talk about it. Because for so many decades, we have had to be strong. We've had to take on the world. We've been through so much already. And so we don't want to come off as, oh, here's another thing. Here's another thing that's going on. But guys, I'm telling you, as a grown woman that experienced growing up with it as a child, it is murderous. I'm telling you, it's like watching someone being possessed and you're just like, oh my God, what is going on? And being a child and not understanding and not really having the support, and then the older siblings have to be the support and try to figure out, and so you can get to school and do all that stuff. It was something. It was horrific. It was horrific. But I thank God that I talked to someone about it when I remember getting counseling as I became an adult to just talk about, get these things out of me so I did not have dissatisfaction and not at ease, and that creates disease. I wanted to get that stuff out of me and have that healing and have my mind right and my spirit right and my, mind, body, and soul all becoming conjoined together and working together for complete harmony in my mind and in my body and my spirit. And so I would definitely say, guys, this is nothing to play with. It was nothing to be embarrassed about. Is we can have the hard discussions. My goal, Bruce's goal, and my goal is to impact lives like never before. We want to impact 1 billion lives, and we want to be able to do that. And that's the reason why we have 2 shows. We have the Marlo Davis show on Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's to talk about all the subjects that I talked about giving information and inspiration. But then we could come on and talk about something about mental. We could talk about physical fitness. We could talk about spirituality. We could talk about emotions. We could talk about relationships. We could talk about finances. That's what I love about this show right here, the Marlo Davis show. It's me kicking it with you, sharing information to help impact the nation. And then Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I love that show because it's all about finance. It's the Money Madness at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Every Monday, we talk about how to grow your money, how to protect your money, how to invest your money, everything that you need to know about money because it's your money. We want to be able to help you with that. So it gives us 2 different platforms to speak on. I have a funny personality. I love to laugh. Laughter is healing. It kills free radicals. It kills cancer. The cancer cells. I've been told that. But stuff like this, it can be a little, uncomfortable to talk about it because it's very, very serious. It's very serious. It needs to be taken serious. It's nothing to be ashamed of. And you want to make sure that your loved one, or even you for that matter, get the help that you need. As I said, as I wrap this up, this has, I was telling Bruce, we was having a conversation. I said, Bruce, this is not a United States pandemic. What did we say, babe? This is a what? An earth, the whole earth pandemic. That you go out to the grocery store and it's like a third world country. People wearing masks, gloves, things of that nature. People trying to get to some form of normalcy. I don't believe we'll ever get back to the way things used to be. It would take some time to adapt and have some new normals, if you will. But I believe that if you feel a certain type of way about it, you're finding yourself sleeping late, you're finding yourself overeating, you're finding yourself stressed out, you're finding yourself uncontrollably crying, you're finding yourself just like, woe is me, and you feel like, oh God, I just don't know what I'm going to do. Well, listen, guys, I gave you a lot of numbers to call, but a quick, easy one. Text NAMI to 741-741. NAMI, that's National Alliance on Mental Illness, to 741-741. Okay, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It is available for you. Get the help that you need. It is May, what we say, Mental Illness Awareness Month. Mental Illness Awareness Month. That's what this is. Mental Health Awareness Month. Also referred to as Mental Health Month. Check yourself. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. We love you. We want the best of you. And I want you to know that, no, you're not Superman. You're not Superwoman. Sometimes you got to take the damn cape off and put the glasses on and become Clark Kent. You know what I'm saying? Because we put out so many fires, but yet and still we are internally burning until we burn ourselves out. So get the help that you need, guys. Hopefully this video has helped you. Hopefully this live, if you just joined us, go back and watch it. I think it's a very good video. If you believe this video, the discussion, this episode can help someone and you believe that it's worth sharing, then do me a favor. Like it, share it, subscribe, hit the bell. Make sure you leave a comment below. And I need your help. I need your help. Don't back out. Don't be trying to get away without doing any work. I see you. I see you. I see you. Make sure, just let me know below in the comments, right? Let me know what you would like to see. What would you like us to talk about, either on this show or on Money Madness on Mondays at 7 p.m. Guys, it's been such a blessing to share this with you. I can't believe I actually, Bruce, I didn't think I was going to get through this without crying. Mm-hmm. I did good.
You did very good.
Those therapy sessions helped when I was a kid, right? So I did good. Thank God for that. But that's if we cry, we cry. Who cares? We cry together. We pray together. That's what we do. But, I just wanted to share it. Here's the funny thing. You cannot look at someone and tell what all they've been through. They may be the most funniest person, have the most beautiful smile, but you don't know what they've been through. So be careful judging people. Be careful tearing people down. You just never know what they've been through. And we are here, and I thank God for it. And that's why we're all about giving information and inspiration to impact the nation. We're about building up, never tearing down. We're about looking at the good in a person and not staring at the bad. Because guess what? We all been through some things and we all continue to get through some things. But hopefully we can get through this together, okay? So thank you so much for watching. You've been watching the Marlo Davis Show every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I thank you for watching. I want you to remember that my name is Marlo Davis. I am a wealth creator. You're a wealth creator too, and that you can have, be, do anything. As I leave you, I want to ask you, how are you doing? Be honest. And if you're not doing good, you're not faring well, then let's get the help that you need. There's nothing wrong with talking it out, then walking it out. I love you. God bless you. I'll see you on the next show. Take care. Have a good day.